Hello and welcome to this episode of Tripology. It's the only backpacking show where two best friends enter into the same room and talk about what can only be described as travel. I'm Alan and I'm here with the ever free living Adam.
We've got a contentious one today, mate. We're going to be talking about whether tourist attractions are still worth visiting, and then the Lost and Found section at the end of the show, we're going to play a little game of Mr. and Mr.
Mr. and Mr., a game where two people who know each other very well test how well they really know each other through a series of questions. Adam, I described you as free living for two reasons, one of which is because we're talking about tourist attractions today, and one tourist attraction which you took me to as a surprise was a parasite museum. The opposite of parasitic is free living, and I regard you as such.
And I learned today that the word parasitic or parasite comes from the Greek word, which I think was parasitos or something, meaning to eat at another one's table.
Which is very, very interesting to me for this reason and this reason alone. I consider you one of the most free-living people that I know as a result of your capacity to eat at another person's table.
I never say no, do I? I never turn it down.
But also, I think you have an absolutely uncanny ability. And there may be some people listening to this thinking, I have that ability as well. Not like this guy. You have an uncanny ability to go out into the world and find yourself eating at a plethora of people's tables, both figuratively, literally, metaphorically, hyperbolically, lots of different ways you end up eating at other people's tables. Oftentimes, like for the listening audience, I'll say to Adam, I don't want to do anything tonight. Or perhaps, Adam, I'm going to go and meet a stranger tonight. And then Adam says to me, I'm just going to go out into the world. And I say, are you sure? You know, you can come meet strangers with me if you want. And Adam goes, no. I'm going to go out into the world. And then he'll come back the next day. He's gone round to someone's house. He's met their grandmother. He's like formed a big union. He's made friends at a bar. He's got 6 new girlfriends. All sorts of things happen, don't they?
It's going all out of control. It's just the way I like to travel. It's absolutely the ultimate style of travel for me, is going out and enjoying myself. And I think if you're open to experiences and you say yes to everything, you just happen to put good energy out into the world, you meet the right people, and then some cool things can happen.
But it's an ability you have, though, because I love travel as much as the next podcast host who won an award for best travel podcast. But I just don't have the ability to do that. Now, I consider myself a very likable person when I want to be.
Yeah.
But my energy, my capacity for those situations is limited. I'm not as free living as you. You're just a free guy. You go in there, you make friends, socially flowing. I'd be too in my own head, I think.
I don't know what the reasons are for that. But every time it happens, every time I come back with a wild story, I think, wow, that was probably just a fluke. But when you've had thousands of those over the course of 12 years, literally in every country I've ever been to, there's always a story where, I get invited around someone's house or end up meeting a really cool group and they just take me under their wing and show me a good time. I don't really know what the answer is. I think it's just smiling at strangers. I think it's being interested in other people. I think you're referring to a night that happened very recently, just a few nights ago. Went to a sake bar, had some food, had a drink. I mean, does it ever happen without alcohol?
No, and that may be a key influencing factor. I just think you're very good at it. You have a personality that's finely tuned to just making strangers into friends. Mm-hmm. You know a little bit about a lot of subjects, I think, in a way, or like have an opinion or something to say about a lot of subjects in a way that people like and find endearing. You're a good conversationalist.
Thanks.
I think in a way, isn't it so interesting that in many ways, the ultimate parasite is the one that's so free living,
so adaptable.
It just like the host just becomes friends with it. The ultimate parasite is the one that doesn't have to latch onto the host because the hosts have already just given them everything. They're just like, come with me, hang out with me. It's all beautiful and lovely. You're such a free living little worm.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I do think it's a good thing to be able to do that when you travel, because they're my best travel memories. They're what helped me feel connected to a place, I suppose. And I think a great way to learn about anywhere is through its nightlife, through restaurants, through meeting locals, all of that sort of stuff. I wonder whether you're a bit more deliberate with your time. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I also just at the Parasite Museum there was a tapeworm, a really long one, 8.8 meters it was.
Retention.
And yeah, I mean, I'm someone who I looked at that tapeworm and I was repulsed by it and the journey that the person who housed it must have had to have gone on to house that tapeworm. I just think it must have been a really uncomfortable experience for them.
Yeah, only 3 months though.
Only 3 months, and a lot of crazy things can happen in 3 months. So that's my take on whether you should be social whilst traveling, I suppose.
Did you say how long the tapeworm was?
8.8 meters.
8.8 meters. Yeah. Really long, really long. They have a piece of string actually that's the same length, and you can walk it around the top floor of the museum.
And you did, yeah.
It's free to enter, by the way, the museum. It's one of the reasons we went.
Yeah, it was good. It was a nice surprise from you. No, my point didn't really make sense about the tapeworm and how it relates to me being social. But I just think, I think basically I'm really selective about the kinds of people I can make friends with. I'd struggle. I'm not extrovert enough to go into a bar and be like, hey, come by, but everybody. I'm sort of more like, oh, you seem like an interesting chap. I want to talk to you specifically for 35 minutes.
Yeah, I thought I was like that.
Focus blast.
I thought I was like that, but I do get on with a lot of people.
There you go.
And I do like chatting to lots of people. Sometimes I have the same conversations with people over and over again. And,
yeah,
maybe you're just not into that.
That to me feels like the tapeworm.
Yeah. Does it?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I just would feel aggravated by having the same conversation multiple times. But that's it, isn't it? That's one of the beauty of traveling. Sometimes people in hostels, they don't mind at all being like, how many countries have you been to? Where are you from? How many months have you been traveling? Where are you from? They just have those same conversations again and again.
Maybe we've hit the nail on the head then. You're stimulated by interesting conversation.
Novelty, innovation, new things.
And I'm stimulated by alcohol.
There you go.
There you go.
And both of us just there in a bar getting stimulated by different things. And that's one of the beautiful things about traveling and having a tapeworm. But that's not what we're talking about today, because the Parasite Museum was a tourist attraction.
Correct. And there's many things to do in Tokyo. Loads of different tourist attractions to see. But today we're going to discuss whether we think tourist attractions are changing, whether they have changed. We don't always want to hark on about how good travel was, 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years ago, or whatever. But we do live in a new age now.
It is the new age. Yeah. The one age of travel, the age that we started to travel is over. And now it's a new age. I think that's really definitive. Post-COVID age.
Yeah, agree. So we're going to talk about two main tourist attractions today, one more so than the other one.
Yeah.
And
not tourist attractions in the American place, Maine.
Oh, that was a place, was it?
Yeah, in America, it is a place, Maine.
It's called tourist attraction.
No.
Right.
Well, you said we're going to look at some Maine tourist attractions. I just wanted to specify.
Oh, right.
For
Okay.
SEO
You think
purposes.
people might have thought, hang on, maybe he's talking about going to the US now.
Tourist attractions in Maine.
Right. Okay. No, we're still in Tokyo. We're still in Japan, as you can tell from my Arsenal shirt. And one of them is a great exhibition, actually, which we'll go into some detail about. We went there exactly a week ago today. And the other one is maybe the most popular in terms of its foot traffic.
Yeah.
In Sensoji Temple in Asakusa. And we had pretty similar experiences at both, I would have said.
I would have said so. They were both equally spiritual. They were both equally enlightening. And there was interesting things about both of them.
Yeah, so the first one, guys, is an exhibition. What would you call it? Kind of like a light installation type digital thing?
Loosely in the bracket of interactive art.
Very contemporary.
And similar to an experience I've talked about previous on the podcast, going to that one in Korea, where it was very much a photo-taking opportunity on Valentine's Day.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So TeamLab Planets is what we're talking about. This is the tourist attraction. Could you describe sort of what the exhibitions are like? What it's like to be walking around? It's in quite an obscure area of Tokyo, isn't it? It's quite an industrial area where there's not really much else to do apart from that, I didn't feel.
Yeah, we had to blitz over early morning to TeamLab Planets, and we were confronted upon doing so with such a long tapeworm-sized queue that wrapped around the block.
Yeah.
And, that's got to put your day off to a bad start if you're if you're getting in that queue.
If you're someone who has to queue, yeah.
We didn't because, we have an award-winning travel podcast and things are going pretty well for us tapeworms. But so we got in, and what's inside is a series of exhibits that go across different planet biomes. You've got the water biome, trickling water flowing through by, actual physical water. You have to pull your pants up, walk in barefoot.
Yeah.
There's another biome, the garden biome. Lots of dead plants hanging all over. It's a plant biome.
I think they're all orchids, aren't they? All types of orchids. Very beautiful, very aesthetic.
You've got the forest biome. Yeah. Some people say it's derivative of the plant biome. No, I don't know. It was one a garden biome, one was forest. There was you could get an app and you could catch different animals like a giant sloth.
Oh, yeah, that thing, yeah.
All that sort of stuff.
I think there's 4, isn't there? There's 4 main areas, one of which is sort of outdoors with a cafe and that sort of stuff, big seating area. But everything's to do with light, and there's a lot of mirrors and that sort of stuff. I'm sure you've seen photos. If you've not seen photos or videos on Instagram.
Well, what were the highlights for you, mate? Because for me, I was a big fan of the water biome.
Yeah.
You go in, you take your shoes and socks off, you pull your pants up. You very astutely said, Alan, I think that this might be just a way of gently telling us to clean our feet. And indeed, you were sort of wade through a trickling stream.
We actually walk uphill, don't you?
All indoors, all part of the museum exhibit. You walk through this trickling stream, and Adam's nose is very, very finely tuned. Often he'll smell something before it's dealt. And he said immediately, that's chlorine. That's a heavily chlorinated bit of water. They're just cleaning our feet.
I can see what you're doing here, TeamLab Planets.
Yeah, and he was right, because later scientific testing confirmed that was heavily chlorinated water that we were bathing our feet in just to get into the water biome.
Yeah.
The water biome itself consisted of a flooded room up to the upper shin, lower kneecap.
Yeah, definitely higher than ankle.
With projections of koi on the water. So you were sort of wading through it and you could see all these koi splashing around. Now, it was very suspicious to me because I noticed one child running through the koi. And upon doing so, the koi exploded into a floral display. And I said, Adam, I don't think those koi are just projections. I think they're actually interacting with the people walking through them. You didn't believe me.
So the koi are basically being projected from projectors above onto the surface of the water.
Correct.
Do you remember the colour, roughly? What would you say the colour of the water was?
Murky.
Is it quite opaque, wasn't it?
Yeah, grey, murky, like it had been filled with sediment so to make it opaque so the projection would work.
So that is maybe what someone who is not an idiot would deduce, right? Because in order to actually see the fish, the water needs to be opaque so that there's kind of a surface that they...
Yeah.
So I've read a number of reviews, and two of which I'll read, that say that they're complaining that the water isn't clean. They're saying there's so many tourists in the walking through that water with dirty feet that's the reason why the water's muddy.
Wow.
I didn't once think that.
No, because it was very, very clear that if the water was clear, the fish would not be able
the exhibit becomes completely redundant.
They've made the water opaque
deliberate.
so that it's like basically a screen on which the fish can be projected.
Yeah, okay. Otherwise the surface wouldn't work for the exhibition.
Absolutely. Well, anyway, I said to Adam, I think that the fish are interacting with the people splashing. And you said, I don't know how that'd be possible. And I said, well, I'm sure there must be a tracker on the surface of the water because they're definitely like running away from people, the fish.
Yeah, and they kind of... I don't know what the word. They disintegrate almost into a lot of feathers, or
floral display.
Yeah, petals. Yeah, lovely.
And they were like running away from people and that sort of thing. And it turned out that was exactly what's happening. It was quite a beautiful
You're right.
Matrimony, I would say. Quite a beautiful marrying of science, technology with art. Track the surface of the water, disruptions cause the fish to explode and run away and that sort of thing. And it turns out that's what was going on. It was beautiful. I found it to be a very lovely exhibit.
The reason why we know that was the case and that was the technology involved was because you did what almost no one in there did, which was read a sign about the exhibition.
Interesting that you bring that up because there were some signs throughout the exhibit that I read. Couldn't help but notice that every single other human being in the entire TeamLab Planets building was so fixated on their own cell phone and face reflected within that they barely looked at anything else around them any of the time.
Yeah.
Adam, we've got to tell the listener about Saley's eSIMs, haven't we?
I agree, mate. Let's do it.
Well, they've got the absolute best solution for getting fast, reliable and safe data for your smartphone whilst travelling.
Yeah, you're right. And they don't work the same way as a physical SIM. It's actually using the software that's inbuilt in your phone.
Do you remember when we used to have to hunt down a store and a stranger would jab our SIM card trays with a little needle and give us a physical local SIM? We don't do that anymore, do we?
No, we don't, mate. And gone are the days where we have to walk around the town trying to find a public Wi-Fi spot.
Now, first thing the Tripology boys do when they arrive in a new country is go to Saley.com and get an amazing eSIM plan. It's less than $5 a month and they work in over 150 countries.
You can do that too. If you go to Saley.com/Tripology and use the code Tripology, you'll receive an exclusive 15% off your first purchase.
It's literally a travel essential. If you're going to find yourself roaming across the world, you need data, you should use Saley. Use our code Tripology. There's a link in the description.
Support Saley, support the podcast. Cheers. So the other exhibits, as well as the fish one, there was also a big room with huge, are they called orbs?
Big
blow-up balls.
In which people looked at themselves in their phone.
Yeah, there was also a lot of mirrors. There was a really cool light exhibition, wasn't there?
In which people looked at pictures of themselves in their phone.
And then you got the flower one as well, and the outdoor one. So in
You guessed it, Tripologists. People looked at themselves in their phones there too.
In every room, there is a good opportunity for a couple of photos. I mean, it's very aesthetic. It looks very cool and futuristic.
Yeah.
It's distorting reality. I mean, just walking around the exhibition is very cool and it's very impressive. The technology, the design, very lovely experience from that perspective.
Yeah.
But when you're surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands of tourists that are living the experience through their phones.
What Team Planets have done for me is create a very good art museum with interactive, scientifically interesting art.
Right.
What they've done a great job of is unwittingly manufacturing a zoo where one can watch Westerners in their most natural habitat staring at themselves through a camera.
Yeah.
It's truly bizarre. Everything of moderate interest results in a selfie in that place.
Yeah, you're constantly ducking and diving out of people's shots. Everyone's just waiting for other tourists to go past so that they can have, something with a background with no one in it.
Yeah.
There was one woman in the fish exhibition. She had a fucking flashlight on.
There was one woman with a snorkel on under the water. She had an underwater camera. Yeah, she had her flash on. She was walking around. It is mental, guys. And I don't know how to address it without sounding like a real Debbie Downer.
But what it does highlight is that maybe tourist attractions, you can extend it further and it can be applied to lots of attractions out there. The things themselves, the things we visit, doesn't matter what attraction it is, whether it's a religious monument or whatever, is still worth seeing, I think. But when the exhibition is also being viewed by 1,000 other people who are acting like mindless idiots.
Yeah.
It ruins the experience. You have to think about your experience as a whole as opposed to just whether you want to see the thing itself or not.
I always say this thing about the time I went to Machu Picchu, it was ruined because there was people there that saw Machu Picchu only through the screen of their phone and nothing else, and how upsetting that is. But this was really it takes the cake, really, because my energy started to be sapped, almost as if the people there were parasites, stealing energy through their actions, which you should never allow yourself to do. You should never lose energy because of people's behavior around you. But it just felt like such a slog. I was just like, can we all just agree just to put our phones away and just experience this together? There was one room with cool projections and light, and everyone's just there's another room. I mean, several times this was the case where TeamLab Planets encourage you to download an app.
Yeah, so that is something that's worth mentioning because it does necessitate the use of your phone.
And there's one room where there's these projected animals on several screens, and you can use your phone to scan them and collect them.
Yeah, like a Pokemon type thing, I imagine.
Poor projection of a giant sloth that the second he appeared on the screen, he was getting snatched up by a million kids, and I never got to have a good look at that sloth projection as a result.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because we don't, when it comes to travel and sort of visiting tourist attractions as a tourist, you can't stop people from using their phones. I mean, people are bound to want to take photos, but the trouble is when you've got a large group of people doing it in unison, it actually does impact your experience. We are having to wait for people to take the correct photo, or they're just clogging up. No one's interacting with each other. They're just in their groups. Maybe they're on their own or with a couple or with a family. And all they're doing is just wandering around with their phone, bumping
Where's
into
the line,
things.
though? Because ultimately what people are trying to do is collect memories, aren't they? And perhaps we sound like a couple of miserable bastards because people are trying to collect memories, have recollection of what it is that they've done. But in the same breath, by collecting those memories, they've prevented themselves from being present for even a moment in the actual activity itself.
Well, this is the question I'll put to you. If you were to ask the creators of TeamLab Planets what they want people to take away from the experience, and what they expect people to be able to recount from the experience, do you think that any of that would involve the purpose of the exhibition itself, or the designer, or what the message is that they're sending? Or do you think they'd be totally happy with people just having 5 photos?
5?
Well, all right, 20.
Per second?
20, I don't know. Like, some people go to that exhibition, they spend a number of hours there, and all they've got to show for it is the photos.
A camera roll.
Which are probably very cool photos.
This is the thing, though. People's experience, no longer is it enough to have done the thing. Now, to have done the thing, you need to have a picture or a video of you having done the thing.
Yeah.
And even further removed from that, people need to share the picture as proof of having done the thing. So we're getting more and more extrapolated from the experience of having done a thing.
Yeah.
No longer can people just say, oh, I did this amazing thing. I camped out in the Namibian desert for 3 weeks. It's like, got any pictures?
Yeah.
What's your Instagram? Well, let me see you having done that thing. No, but what's the story? Like, tell me the story.
And if you dare respond with, I didn't take any photos or videos, I just wanted to be absolutely present, they go, all right, you fucking weirdo.
Oh, dear.
Sorry, get
sorry.
off. Look, I can't see you up there on your high horse.
You're not the kind of person I want to spend 35 minutes with talking and doing about.
But even I wanted to take photos because it gives you FOMO to a certain extent. When you see so many other people doing it, you're like, oh, we should take one though. Like, even we looked at each other, we were like, yeah, should we take one?
Well, we were under contractual obligations to take one, Adam, but
we're obliged to take one.
Because I think that everyone goes around there like sort of zombies.
Yeah.
The staff were on tenterhooks. One of them shouted at me.
Well, let me just stop you there because I've got 2 reviews.
Okay,
we're going to see if it kind of one's positive and one's negative.
Okay,
and then we're going to see where we fit in those reviews, right?
Okay, let's role play. You be the reviewer, I'll be the stars. It's 5.
So this is a 5-star review. I'll read it from top to bottom. It's just on Google Review. You can go and get this yourself, guys. This is of TeamLab Planets in Tokyo. 5 stars. A fun and awe-inspiring experience for both kids and adults. We enjoyed every part of the exhibition, including the water area. I like the way they single that out.
Yeah, the water area is
not like other people.
It's the best area.
There are tons of corners, perfect for photos, and plenty of interactive installations that really let you immerse yourself in the art. The whole experience engages all your senses, making it feel... Does it all? Even taste? Making it feel far more than a typical museum. It was a bit dark inside and quite crowded when we visited. We went on a Friday, so walking around could be slightly challenging, but with a little patience, everything was still enjoyable. The staff were incredibly kind and well trained too. Every room was amazing, and participating in the installations really enhanced the experience. I also appreciated the lockers and the towels provided after getting wet. We had so much fun that we ended up staying until closing time. The kids loved the more active rooms, and for me, every space had great photo opportunities. It's the second time it's got mentioned. The ushers also guided us on which areas to visit first so we could make the most of our time. Booking tickets online is easy and you can choose your preferred time slot. I recommend arriving around an hour before your scheduled entry because the queue starts early. The ticket price is a bit high, just over 5,000 yen, but it was absolutely worth it. This was one of my must-visit spots in Tokyo and it truly lived up to expectations. Highly recommend.
Maybe that's the issue, is that they had kids, and I do imagine it would be really fun with kids.
Fun for the adults even.
It's fun for adults to see their kids happy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would have liked it
busy.
if you were a little bit more childlike in there.
Okay.
Because a lot of the time we went into a room with lots of balls.
Yeah.
And I would have liked you to be crawling under them, having fun, giggling, laughing. That would have
there are
brought me
signs that
joy.
say don't push the balls.
That's true.
So, you know, you can only do so much. Maybe if I was a kid, they would have given me a bit of leeway.
Do you think, from your perspective, if I was really enjoying it, like I was going mental, I was like running around, would you have had a better time, do you think?
Yeah.
So do you think
it's just because it's infectious, though, isn't it?
So are we just the problem? Maybe we were just two miserable guys going around.
No, I think we still had a good day. But
me too.
We're trying to duck and dive out of the phones that are nearly, you know.
That was true. I nearly got my head taken off by an iPhone 17.
Yeah. And if I remember rightly, I was quite hungover. So I don't think I was, you know.
Yeah, you were trying to drink the water, weren't you?
Alan, is that alcohol, is it?
This is quite carbon.
Get your foot out of the way. I'm going to have a sip. So, no, I don't think we were the problem. I think that whenever we go somewhere, and this is maybe affecting our experience, and some people might say, guys, just fucking relax for once in a while. But we do run a travel show. So
yeah, we had to think critically.
When we go to places, we are observing, we are thinking about our own experience. We are, you know, we're not there to just, I don't know.
All right, but that's a positive review because I do think it's really good. I think there's a lot of good stuff in TeamLab Planets, especially if you're with kids and especially if there was no other humans there.
Yeah, no, the exhibition was great. It really is.
Let's hear a negative review. I'll be the star, you be the review.
Okay.
1.
Yeah, it's a 1-star review. Stunning art ruined by hostile, aggressive staff.
Oh.
It's a strong start. TeamLab Planets is a beautiful concept, but the hospitality is some of the worst I've experienced in Tokyo. While at the drawing scanning booth, I tried to engage in simple small talk with the staff member regarding her accent. At least they're honest, fucking hell.
Wow.
Amazing. Instead of a professional response, I was met with immediate hostility. She became incredibly indignant and told me I was being very rude for asking a simple question. It is shocking that a high-priced international attraction, a guest's attempt at a polite interaction, is met with such defensiveness and attitude. This encounter completely soured the magic of the exhibition. If you go, be prepared for breathtaking visuals, but incredibly prickly, untrained staff who seem to dislike interacting with the public. Truly a disappointing way to taint a magical experience. Advice to visitors, avoid the staff at the scanning booth unless you want your mood ruined for the rest of the tour.
Right, okay, so I have a couple of things. Firstly, I don't trust that guy because I think he might have been racist.
Yeah, I think this person's a twat.
Yeah, based on his review, I think he probably shouldn't have said that thing about the accent. That said, I had my mood ruined by a member of staff there as well.
Yeah.
I went up to her, I said, why are you talking like that? She went, you're being very rude.
No, I mean, what could have happened in that person's... Surely they just said something like, where's your accent from? Unless they did say something that was borderline, you're not from here, are you?
Yeah,
something
you
like
don't
that.
know. You just don't know. I had a bit of a headbutt with a member of staff there, though.
You did?
Because basically you take your shoes off to go into the water zone. Otherwise you get chlorine in your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the whole water thing, had a nice time in there, come back out, take my shoes out of the locker, put them on. A member of staff charges up to me and says, you're not allowed to wear shoes in here. I said, I know, I'm just leaving. Like I've got my shoes now, I'm going out there. She went, take your shoes off. I went, okay, but I'm just leaving now. So she went, you're not allowed, it's against the rules. I went, okay, where do you want me to put them back on? She said, just walk over there and put them on there. I went, okay, that's all you had to say.
Yeah.
The place where she wanted me to put my shoes on was 3 meters to the right of where I put them on.
Wow.
It's quite fine margins between her absolutely thinking I'd broken the law. It's not. She jumped to me like trying to circumvent the rules. I just wanted to put my shoes on. I was just 3 meters to the left.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like an overreaction
of the shoe, but she's probably so up to here with
people like that person.
Yeah, people like that person. Fine, I will put my shoes on. Where's your accent from? Because I've not got an accent.
Yeah, I love the way you defaulted to that accent. Dear, oh dear. No, I do think that when you're dealing with idiot tourists all day, every day, and you don't know what had happened in her day.
I mean, she was on such a fine wire. I just wanted to be like, calm down. It's all right. I'll do what you say. Take my shoes off, put them on. I'll even go out for dinner with you if that's what you want.
It's difficult. I mean, it really is sort of a case study on what I don't like about modern society.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
It put me in a bad mood, though. I found it very, very difficult to enjoy the forest biosphere after that.
So actually, part of your review actually concurs with that review.
Yeah,
Do you think it's the same member of staff?
Could be.
Really? Where was their accent from?
I couldn't. It was so strong, I couldn't tell where she was from.
Because there are some foreigners working there, aren't there?
There are, yeah.
And by foreigners, I mean Japanese. there's some international there's some international people working at the exhibit. But otherwise, everyone there is really lovely. I don't know, if I'm being super critical, I don't know if the way you walk around makes complete logistical sense.
This is what I actually think, genuinely.
Yeah.
Make less money and just have fewer people in at one time.
You think there should be a limit?
Yeah, I do. I just think it was like too many people, and maybe even put a limit on phone use. I think that might have to happen more and more.
That would be gangster if they said, by all means come in, but we're banning phones.
Yeah.
You can't take one picture.
Dude,
why don't they do that?
It would be beautiful in there. If
it would
no
be
one was
so
on their
sick
phones.
if they did that.
Yeah.
And the way the light installations go off, they've got different patterns almost. They're like pre-recorded programs and things.
I actually think if they banned pictures in there, the whole thing would be amazing.
It would be so much better. They would obviously have to get rid of the exhibition where you scan the animals and catch them.
I almost think we've got to be in a place in society now. And if you think I'm being a horrible fascistic bastard, please tell me in the comments, write us an email.
Actually, either way, do write us an email about tourist attractions in general and see whether you think they've gone too far, because it's people with their phones usually, and that have a slightly different mindset maybe, that are just there to take a photo of it. They don't care about what they're seeing or its historical or cultural significance.
Tripologypodcast.com to get in touch. But I do think we're at a place in society now where I would prefer almost every major thing there was a designated photo area.
Yeah.
And then it was just no phones allowed anywhere. If you want that picture of you with Machu Picchu, queue up and take the picture. But once you're beyond, I just don't want anyone on their phone. I don't want anyone queuing up doing in the pyramids like this. I'm taking a picture of a pyramid. Look, I'm pinching the top of the pyramid. I'm pushing up the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I'm making love to the Eiffel Tower. Just leave it all out. Take your one picture if you want. But the reality is those things have had enough pictures.
Yeah, and your picture is absolutely no different from thousands and thousands of other people. So if you want the memory of you being there, maybe that's the only justification. But if there's so many people that all want the memory of them being there, it's affecting literally the group as a whole.
Or even this, if you're serious about photography and it's I want a specific picture of the Taj Mahal in this light, then by request only. Send an email to a thing in advance and apply for the license to bring your camera in. So if you're a serious photographer, because if someone's really into photography, I don't want to stop them from doing it. What I'm against is not the deliberate thought out picture. It's just people walking around pulling their phone out every 2 seconds.
Yeah, and every odd person doing that is not an issue, but it's the mentality of a group of people doing that ruins the whole experience for everyone. I can't imagine that the people who were in there
will ever look at those pictures again, ever.
No, but I mean, we have to assume that they're not of the same opinion as us, don't we?
Yeah.
They must not care.
I don't think they think about it.
Thousands of other people doing exactly the same thing all the time. It's just annoying when you're having to dodge people's arms and move out the way so people can get the shot.
Well, maybe we're considerate. Maybe we're trying to not be in people's pictures. Maybe we should have bowled through we own the place. But
it didn't feel like there were other people in there that were using their own brains. They were just walking around gormless, just. But you just mentioned.
I'm finding humans in general are getting a bit gormless, and it's in large part just due to phones. People are just gorming on their phones all the time. You go on the subway, everyone's just gormed up.
Gorming. We're just about to reach time, mate, but I do want to get one more thing in before we go.
Go ahead.
So, overall, guys, TeamLab Planets, it is worth going. I think it's worth
Absolutely.
going. It's very impressive. Really, it's a really cool interactive exhibition. And it's one of the best things you can do in Tokyo, perhaps, if you like that sort of thing, right? Definitely worth going, but just expect a lot of people and a lot of tourists taking photos and potentially one prickly staff member. Anyway, it was awarded TeamLab Planets Tokyo, the one we went to, in 2023. This is, I don't want to pass judgment.
You have an opinion on it, though?
I've got an opinion.
Right, go ahead.
And I'd like to know yours.
Yeah.
It was awarded Asia's leading tourist attraction in 2023 at the World Travel Awards.
Is that prestigious?
Now, I can't...
Have we won anything at the World Travel Awards?
Not to
yet.
my knowledge. No,
okay.
not just yet.
So it's probably not that important.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I'm hesitating here is because I do want to say very positive things about the exhibition as a whole, but it was very difficult as an experience to detach the exhibition from the number of idiots that were walking around taking photos.
I totally agree with that assessment, yeah.
Yeah.
So go on, what's number 2, though?
So, well, I don't know which order this is in, but we're going to talk about, very quickly, I'm going to mention that it was awarded, just put this into perspective, guys, Asia's leading tourist attraction 2023.
There's a lot. But Asia has a lot of tourist attractions.
Yeah. These were the other nominees that lost to that exhibition.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah. I'll tell you whether I've been there or not and what I thought of it.
Well, there's probably about 10 or 12. You can probably just reel off a few and guess them, and I'll let you know if they're on there.
Okay.
They're the ones you're thinking of, I would imagine.
Taj Mahal.
Correct. What else you got?
Angkor Wat.
Correct.
Asia. Great Wall of China.
Correct. There's another one that's in Tokyo. Pretty serious.
Pretty serious in Tokyo. Tokyo Tower.
Yeah, we haven't been there, but I have been there without you.
Okay,
it's the Imperial Palace.
Okay, yeah, been there. Nice.
Right. Also Victoria Peak in Hong Kong.
Okay, cool.
Amazing. The Forbidden City in China.
Yeah, also amazing.
Terracotta Warriors in Xi'an.
Yeah, not been there, but I've seen a picture.
I have been there. It's more impressive than TeamLab Planets. Another TeamLab Supernature in Macau. The Taj Mahal. There's also the Senganen and Shoko Shusaiken Museum in Kagoshima.
We'll cut that bit out.
I don't know what that is, but it's not as good as TeamLab Planets. Intramuros in the Philippines. Yeah. I've been there in Manila.
Yeah.
Halong Bay in Vietnam. And then the Great
One
Wall
of the most
China,
beautiful places I've ever been.
And then Borobudur.
Yeah,
Borobudur
in Yogyakarta, one of the coolest temples I've ever been to. I mean, it's difficult to make those arguments, if I'm honest, for cultural and historical and just aesthetic beauty.
I don't know how this was TeamLab Planets was awarded this, but let me just say, to be as generous as possible, it's surprising.
This is what I think.
Yeah.
I think that we're in the new age of travel now.
Right.
And I think that the way society is going,
yeah,
and the way travel is going, is it's no longer enough for something to be beautiful and historical and culturally important. Now, everything is about its capacity to let you insert yourself into it.
And how well the Instagram reels perform.
How much you can get yourself into the thing and be an active participant in the experience. When you go to Borobudur, you can walk around the temple, you can get on it, you can experience it.
Yeah.
But for the vast majority of people, they're not going to look in to why Borobudur is the way it is, why there are all those Buddha statues. They're not going to look into the history of the Taj Mahal, why it's there, what a symbol of it, the adoration for his wife that is, the funerary building. They're not going to look into these things. And also, it's like they're very passive. It's very much just you looking at something that's important.
Yeah.
I think that with AI and stuff, films are going to be the same way. It's going to be about people putting themselves in the movie. Now people can generate art. Lots of people generate pictures of themselves doing things. Oh, here's me as a Viking.
Yeah.
People want to be in things.
Yeah, but I mean...
Here's me in the koi pond.
All right, I see what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's just, I think it's sad, but I don't want to really focus on that sort of thing too much. We do always run the risk, of being gatekeepers of travel. And we know we weren't the first people to travel. We get that. We're not saying we're better travelers than other people. We're just saying that there are a lot of tourists these days that are making things unenjoyable for people like us.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Something to think about, something to mull over. The world is changing, and I think travel is it's a pressure chamber. It's a little cross-section of a certain type of society, people who can afford to go away.
For sure.
And, we as backpackers share spaces with both locals and holidaymakers. And those three cross-sections of society meet at places like TeamLab Planets. A very interesting location, one that I think is worth visiting, but would be better with fewer people and maybe some changes to their to just confiscate people's phones on entry. But that's basically what I think about it. We'll go over to the Patreon section now, Adam. I think that was comprehensively covered, and I think something to think about. We want to hear your perspective. Like I said, tropologypodcast.com. Send us a little message, send us a voice recording, talk to us, let us know what you think about what we said, because we took a pretty hard-line stance.
Yeah, we don't always want to come across like we're anti-tourists, but we are. We'll see you in the Lost and Found, guys. Thanks ever so much. Bye.
See you, bye.